Hey everybody, so the NHL season is in full swing now as we are over a week into the regular season, and there are some players who are having really good starts for their particular teams this year and lighting up the scoreboard. And I want to talk about 5 of those players. Before we get into the video, I just quickly want to say, if you're not yet a subscriber to this channel, please hit that red subscribe button. That is the #1 thing you can do to help any YouTube channel, and we are really trying hard to get to 1,000 subscribers here. So if you're new, please hit that subscribe button. And for everyone, make sure you hit the like button if you enjoy this video and give it a thumbs up. Likes are just as important to YouTube channels as subscribers and views, and it really does more than you could ever realize to help the channel. So thank you guys so much, and hopefully you enjoy this video. So I'm picking 5 players that I want to talk about. I could pick 10, 15, maybe even 20 at this point who are off to really hot starts, but I don't want this video to be 25 minutes long. So I'm only picking 5. Don't go down into the comment section saying you missed this guy or you forgot about him or this guy's having a better season. I know. I picked these 5 for specific reasons, okay? So let's get right into it. Number 1, Connor McDavid. So obviously I want to talk about Connor McDavid because he is tied for the league in points right now with 10. Through 4 games for the Edmonton Oilers this year, Connor McDavid has 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 points. Also 6 power play points already for the Oilers. McDavid, to me, is proving why he's the best player in the league. And I mean, I thought for the last few years that McDavid is the best player in the league, and I think this start to this season is showing that he's the best player in the league. As far as pure talent goes, as far as point production, as far as speed, puck handling skills, power play, ability to score and set up, Connor McDavid, I believe, is the best all-around player in the NHL, and he is lighting it up so far this year. This is a guy who should easily surpass the 100-point mark, certainly if he's healthy. Probably will score more than 110 points this year. This is a guy who could have 50 points just on the power play. He's got 6 power play points already in 4 games. Obviously, that rate is not going to keep up all season long. But for most players in the league, a 50-point season is a good year. Connor McDavid might have 50 points this season just on the power play, never mind his 5-on-5 production. McDavid should be an easy 100-point scorer again this year, and he is off to a tremendous start, as are the Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton is off to a very nice start this season, to the surprise, I think, of many, myself included, who now obviously only 4 games in. It's way too early to be talking about standings and you know where teams are in the playoff picture. I'm not even going to touch on that until teams have played at least 10 games. But there's no doubt Edmonton is off to a nice start. They're winning games, and Connor McDavid is a big reason why. Next player I want to talk about is Patrik Laine from the Winnipeg Jets, because Winnipeg also as a team is off to a much better start than I expected them to be. And Patrik Laine is leading the way. 5 games played for Laine, 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 points, tied with McDavid for the league lead. He's also +6, so he is not out there on the ice for goals against either. He's playing really well right now. And this was always going to be a huge year for Patrik Laine. Given what happened last year, scoring 18 of his 30 goals in the month of November and then being extremely inconsistent the rest of the year, not doing a whole lot. Overall, it was a down year for Laine last year. There was a lot of talk about him possibly getting traded. He had his contract was up. He was an RFA this summer. He didn't sign until right before the start of the season. Laine was a guy who was certainly under the microscope from fans, especially going into this season, and he has responded in a great way with 10 points in his first 5 games. I picked Patrik Laine to have a huge bounce back year this year. I think I either predicted 44 or 45 goals, something like that from him this year. But I did think that he would lead the Winnipeg Jets in goals this season. It's actually been assists for Laine so far, which is unusual. He's more of a pure goal scorer. He's usually not a guy who racks up a ton of assists. He's more of a 40-goal guy. But Laine this year so far has 7 assists already, and he's setting his teammates up and getting himself on the score sheet that way. So it's been a really good start for Laine. It's been a really good start for the Jets, and we'll see if that continues. But I am expecting Laine to have a big year this year, and he's certainly off to a good start. Player number 3 I want to talk about is Anthony Mantha from the Detroit Red Wings, because Anthony Mantha has 6 goals already in 4 games for Detroit. He's also +5 on the year and has 8 points already. A lot of people thought that last year was going to be Anthony Mantha's breakout season, and he did have a pretty good year last year. But I think this year Anthony Mantha is really going to take that next step and become one of the better young goal scorers in the NHL. 6 goals already, including a 4-goal game earlier this season. I think that he's obviously off to a very good start, and I think that's going to continue this year. Detroit's top line of Mantha, Larkin, and Bertuzzi have had a really, really nice start to the season. And that's a great sign for Red Wings fans, because when it comes to at least the forward group and sort of the team as a whole, that is the future of the Detroit Red Wings right there. Mantha, Larkin, and Bertuzzi, those 3 young players, all forwards, playing on the same line now all together, are really important to this team's future. And, Larkin being a superstar center, Mantha, the big-time goal scorer, Bertuzzi, that power forward role, kind of an agitator who can also score, 20, 25 goals a year. That's, Detroit needs those guys to really take over and be the leaders of this team. And it looks like so far this year they're growing into that role and starting to do that. And I think Larkin should be named captain very soon, and I think that Mantha and Bertuzzi are going to be really good line mates for him for years to come. And Mantha especially, I think, is really going to take off in the goal-scoring department this year. And we could easily see a 30 to 35 goal season out of Mantha, assuming he stays healthy, and hopefully he does. And again, Detroit's one of those teams that I don't think is there yet. I don't think they're ready to be a playoff team yet, but they have a very, very bright future ahead of them. And Mantha is a big, big reason why, and a great goal-scoring start for him this season. Number 4, Mika Zibanejad from the New York Rangers. So obviously, Artemi Panarin, it was the talk of the town as far as New York goes. Their huge free agent signing this past offseason. But let's not forget that Mika Zibanejad has been incredibly good since moving from Ottawa to New York via trade. And Zibanejad had a great season last year, and he's off to another great start this year. Now he has Panarin on his wing. Zibanejad is the top-line center. The Rangers have only played 2 games so far. Mika Zibanejad has 8 points in those 2 games, 4 goals and 4 assists. He's also +6, so he's lighting up the scoreboard in those 2 games. Unreal start. He's obviously it's only been a couple games, and this isn't going to keep up all season. But Mika Zibanejad is scoring 4 points per game right now at the beginning of the year. An incredible, incredible start to the season for him. And while obviously this rate is not going to continue, I think Zibanejad has a huge year this year for the Rangers, solidifies himself as a premier top-line center, and playing with Panarin, I think those two can put up some serious, serious numbers in New York. But it blows me away looking at the stat sheet. Mika Zibanejad, 8 points in 2 games. That is just unreal. You don't see that very often in the NHL. And finally, I wanted to get a defenseman in here who's having a really nice start to the year, and that is John Carlson from the Washington Capitals. John Carlson, through 5 games for the Capitals, has 1 goal, 7 assists for 8 points already on this season, and he's playing 26.05 per night so far. So over 26 minutes a game for Carlson, 8 points already on the young season. Norris Trophy potential. I'm telling you right now that John Carlson could win the Norris Trophy this year. And I think as good as John Carlson is, I still think he's an underrated player as far as defensemen in the NHL go. I mean, when you think about the guys that come to mind when you think of elite NHL defensemen, obviously Burns and Carlson in San Jose. Victor Hedman jumps out. Mark Giordano after the season he had last year. John Klingberg as kind of a young offensive defenseman in Dallas. Those guys really stick out. Seth Jones in Columbus. Roman Josi in Nashville. John Carlson doesn't get talked about all that much as an elite NHL defenseman. John Carlson is an elite NHL defenseman, and I think he's still severely underrated, and he is a dark horse Norris Trophy candidate this year. Obviously, he's off to a great start with 8 points in 5 games, but he's really good defensively as well. He's the epitome of a two-way defenseman. He's not like an Erik Karlsson who racks up loads of points but is kind of a liability in his own end at times. Carlson is a pure two-way defenseman, offensively and defensively, very, very good at both ends of the ice. And I think he is severely underrated still, and I think he definitely has Norris Trophy potential this season. And he's off to a really good start for the Capitals, and we'll see how he keeps up all season long. Playing 26 minutes a night is not an easy thing to do. I'd like to see maybe his ice time come down a little bit, maybe down to the 23 to 24 minutes per night range. And I think over the course of the full season, that probably will happen. You don't want to burn out your top defenseman during the regular season, especially if you're looking to go on a deep playoff run like the Washington Capitals are. So you don't want to burn Carlson out, but he is off to a very, very good start. And I am definitely interested to see if that continues for Carlson and the Capitals this season, because I think he has Norris Trophy potential for sure. So those are the 5 players I wanted to talk about. I know that there are others who are off to great starts as well. Austin Matthews has 6 goals already. James Neal has 7 goals in 4 games for Edmonton. Rasmus Dahlin for Buffalo has 7 points in 4 games as a defenseman. Other players are playing really, really well as well. Like I said, this could have been a 20-player list, but I just wanted to do 5 so the video wasn't too long. And I wanted to talk about those specific 5 players because Connor McDavid, I think, is solidifying himself as the best player in the league, if you didn't think he was already. Patrick Laine off to a great start after a really bad season last year. Anthony Mantha looks like he could have a breakout goal-scoring season for Detroit. Mika Zibanejad becoming one of the top premier first-line centers in the game with 8 points in 2 games already for the Rangers. And John Carlson, Norris Trophy potential in Washington this year, off to a really good start with 8 points in 5 games. So those are 5 NHL players off to red-hot starts this year. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our Patreon and merchandise store are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.